Namaste, myself Triveni Khurana, Assistant Professor, Faculty Physiotherapy and Diagnostics. Today we are going to discuss about surgical treatment of spasticity. Now what is spasticity? Spasticity is a condition in which muscles stiffen or tighten, preventing normal fluid movement. Muscles remain contracted and resist being stretched, thus affecting movement, speech and gait. Spasticity is generally caused by damage or disruption to the area of the brain and spinal cord that are responsible for controlling muscle and stretch reflexes. These disruptions can be due to an imbalance in the inhibitory and excitatory signals sent to the muscles, causing them to lock in place. Spasticity can be harmful to growing children as it can affect muscles and joints. People with brain injury, spinal cord injury, cerebral palsy, multiple sclerosis can have varying degrees of spasticity. Symptoms of spasticity can vary from being mild stiffness or tightening of muscles to painful and uncontrollable spasm. Pain or tightness in joints is also common in spasticity. Muscle stiffness causing movements to be less precise and making certain tasks difficult to perform. Muscle spasm causing uncontrollable and painful muscle contractions. Involuntary crossing of legs, muscle fatigue, muscle and joint deformity is present, inhibition of longitudinal muscle growth, and inhibition of protein synthesis in muscle cells found. Now, there are some complications related to spasticity such as urinary tract infection, chronic constipation, pressure sores, frozen joints, fever or other systemic illness. It is important to seek medical care when spasticity is experienced for the first time with no known cause. The spasticity is worsening and becoming more frequent. Pain is experienced due to stiff joints and muscles, or the condition is preventing performance of everyday tasks. Prolonged and untreated spasticity can lead to frozen joints and pressure sores on the skin, which are rarely painful. Begin by contacting primary care doctor, who may refer patient for further testing or physical therapy. Due to varying degree of spasticity, diagnosis may not be so simple. A physical examination with neurological testing will be done to test for spasticity and severity of it. Imaging such as magnetic resonance imaging can provide more information on the source of spasticity and extent of the damage that has caused it. Unfortunately or fortunately, there are several options, but results depends accordingly. Patients usually undergo more than one treatment at a time. The following treatments have been shown effective, elevate symptom and improve quality of life. The non-surgical treatments include physical therapy. In this, stretching and strengthening exercises focusing on large muscle groups to improve range of motion and mobility. Next is occupational therapy, under which exercises that focus on small muscle groups to improve strength and coordination allow for improved performance of daily tasks. Speech therapy can also be done by patients whose spasticity has affected their speech. Casting or bracing include, or it prevents involuntary spasm and reduces tightening of muscles. Oral medications are used in combination with other therapies such as physical therapy or occupational therapy. Oral medications are only used if symptoms interfere with daily functioning or sleep. Common medications include baclofen, benzodiazepine, dantrolene sodium, imidazoline, and gabapentin. There is a role of botulinum toxin or Botox injection Spasticity. Botox injection can be used to paralyze the spastic muscle, preventing it from contracting. In small amounts, Botox is injected into carefully selected site determined based on the pattern of spasticity. Botox injection can last up to 12 to 16 weeks, but due to plasticity of the nervous system, new nerve endings will form and the muscle will no longer be inhibited by Botox. Additionally, while the Botox can be very helpful, there is a limited number of injections that can be administered. Now, what is the surgery option for spasticity? These are intrathecal baclofen pump (ITP). A pump can be surgically placed in a patient's abdomen and will release a steady dose of baclofen directly to the spinal fluid. This allows for significant reduction in spasticity and pain with fewer side effects compared to taking baclofen orally. ITP pump therapy should only be considered in extreme cases of spasticity and has been found to be most effective in treating spasticity in lower and upper extremities. Next surgical option we have selective dorsal rhizotomy (SDR). Spasticity can be caused by an imbalance in electrical signals to antagonist muscles. So selective dorsal rhizotomy rebalances the electrical signals sent to the spinal cord by cutting selective nerve roots. This is only done in severe spasticity of the legs. With proper and precise indication of the problematic nerve roots, cutting these roots will decrease muscle stiffness while maintaining other functions. Selective dorsal rhizotomy is most commonly used in patients with cerebral palsy. Now follow-up. Patients are recommended to follow up with their primary care or specially regularly to ensure proper treatment of the condition. Typically, for surgeries such as baclofen pump placement, patients are followed by their neurosurgeon who sees them 3 months, 6 months and 12 months post-operatively, and additionally for medicine dosing appointments and any devices related appointments. Patients who take oral medication or who do physical or occupational therapy should follow up with their doctors as instructed and needed. Thank you.